So in this video I'm going to be taking a look at the netcode of Battlefield 4 and comparing it to other games' netcodes and seeing what's wrong with it, because there's a lot of people who don't know what the netcode is in Battlefield 4 but complain about it, and I'm just going to address them issues. So what is netcode? Well, I found this definition on Urban Dictionary, and the definition is an acronym for network code, the part of a game or application that handles the communication between the client's server and or peers. And there's an example there. So basically what that means is it's the data that is sent between your computer or console to the server and to everybody else's console as well. So what's wrong with Battlefield 4's? Well, the thing with Battlefield 4's is it misses out little what we call packets of data. So we call the data packets, and your computer sends packets of data to the server, and then the server distributes them packets of data to everybody. Now these packets of data can be your position, your movement, where your bullets are, how many you're firing, how fast they're firing, which gun you're using, and all that sort of stuff. Now the thing with that is, Battlefield 4 is too slow, or it misses out them packets of data. So what you see on your screen isn't necessarily what other people see on their screen. For example, you could be running away from somebody and they could be shooting you. You could go behind a wall and they will, on their screen, you will be still running. You'll just be turning around that corner. But on your screen, you'll be behind that wall safe, ready to go out and get him from behind cover. But on their screen, you're still going around that corner and they are shooting you, and then you might still take damage whilst you're around that corner. You'll just be sat there and you'll just be taking random damage and you won't know where it's from. And then you can't, in most cases, you die from that. And that is a serious issue with Battlefield 4. The issue is related to the tick rate of the servers, which DICE sacrificed to spend more time on the actual game. There are other issues as well with air vehicles and flares and missiles. When somebody targets onto you, you get the usual series of beeps, and then you think when you deploy your flares at the right time, but the missile still hits, and you take damage, and that can cause you to die. Which is another big issue, because you deploy your flares when you think is the right time, when your beeping corresponds, and then on the server, the missile is actually much closer to you than what your computer thinks it is. So your computer will think that the missile's miles away, so you need to deploy your flares now, whereas on the server, the missile is just upon you, and then you deploy your flares, and then it's too late. So that's another issue. Where if you compare this to other games, like Counter-Strike, Call of Duty, and more recently Titanfall, it's easy to tell how much better their netcode is, rather than Battlefield 4's. However, this could be because Titanfall and Counter-Strike are built on the same engine. Granted, Battlefield 3 netcode wasn't especially great either, but 4's netcode renders the game in a much, much worse state than what 3's was. So what can DICE do to fix this? Well, some major issues have already been fixed in the game by DICE, for example the one-hit kill bug, the aiming down sight missing textures, the lost character progression, and several balancing issues, but the netcode's a little bit different. Depending on how the netcode is written defines on how difficult it could be to patch. However, DICE have said in a post on Battlelog a few weeks ago they are working to improve the netcode and plan to release a patch in the future that could bring it up to standard. We don't quite know what sort of standard it would be. As I've said, Battlefield 3's netcode wasn't the best, but even that netcode would be appreciated in Battlefield 4. Now, I don't normally like to make negative videos on games, as I think it retracts from the game experience if you hear someone talking negatively about it, but this issue really needed urgently addressing, as the amount of people who complain in the chat about netcode without even knowing what it is quite remarkable. So what experience have you had with Battlefield 4's netcode and bugs? Make sure you leave your comments below, and whilst you're there, subscribe for more Battlefield news and discussions, and leave a rating, which is always appreciated. Anyway, thank you for watching. I've been Saucy Meteor, and I'll see you in the next video.